The year was 2347, and humanity had just taken its first real steps into the stars. They had built their first faster-than-light ship 10 years earlier, and now they were part of something called the Galactic Concord, a group of over 200 alien species who had watched Earth for a long time before finally saying yes. To most of them, humans were strange. They felt too much, reacted too fast, and did not always follow logic, but they were allowed in, just barely. Commander Leo Grant stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, Earth's most advanced warship. He was a calm man with steady hands and quiet eyes. Beside him, Lieutenant Mara Cole watched the sensor screen. She was sharp, fast, and never missed a detail. They were near the edge of known space, close to a quiet area called the Zeta Quadrant. Peace had lasted for months, but Mara felt something was wrong. Then the signal came. A weak, broken call from Eridon 9, a small colony on the border. The message said only, "We are under attack, no time," and then silence. No screams, no gunfire, just nothing. Leo looked at Mara. She shook her head. "All comms are dead. No energy readings, no ships on radar. It's like they vanished." The Galactic Concord reacted slowly. Debates, meetings, long talks. But Earth did not wait. The Odyssey and 5 other human ships moved fast toward Eridon 9. When they arrived, there was nothing. No colony, no wreckage, no bodies. Just an empty planet, spinning in silence. The air felt heavy, wrong. Then, from the dark, they came. Ships black and smooth, like shadows given shape. No lights, no sound. They moved in perfect lines, as if one mind controlled them all. These were the Krillix, a powerful empire that never wanted humans in the Concord. The first blast hit without warning. A silent wave of energy. 3 human ships lost power in seconds, shields down, engines dead. Only the Odyssey held on thanks to Mara's quick thinking. She rerouted power and fired a strange signal back, a sound wave mixed with random noise, something the Krillix had never seen. For a moment, the black ships paused. Leo did not wait. He said, "Fire everything." The human ships launched old weapons, steel slugs fired at extreme speed. No lasers, no plasma, just raw force. One Krillix ship tore apart, then another. The rest pulled back into the dark. On the bridge, no one cheered. They just looked at each other. They had won, but they knew this was only the beginning. And somewhere, far away, the galaxy went quiet, as if holding its breath. The victory at Eridon 9 did not bring peace. It brought fear, not just from the enemy, but from the allies. The Galactic Concord could not understand how humans had fought. They did not move in perfect lines. They did not wait for orders. They acted fast, sometimes reckless, always loud. And they had won. On the bridge of the Odyssey, Leo Grant studied the latest reports. More systems were going dark. The Krillix were attacking without warning, using silent weapons that stopped ships cold. No fire, no explosions, just sudden stillness. Entire fleets were found floating in space, crews alive but dazed, unable to speak or remember. Mara Cole sat at her station, eyes fixed on the screen. She had been running tests since the last battle. "They use a single frequency," she said, "like a note repeated over and over. It jams our systems. But if we change our signal fast enough, we can avoid it." Leo nodded. "So they're smart but rigid. They do the same thing every time." "Yes," Mara said. "They don't adapt. We do." Earth sent more ships, small, fast, built for war. Other species watched from a distance. Some sent support, Most stayed silent. Then came the attack on Viridian Outpost, a key station for fuel and repair. The Kryleks struck at night, their dark ships appearing like smoke. In minutes, 3 Allied cruisers were dead in space, power gone, comms dead. The Odyssey arrived with 2 human destroyers. The Kryleks fired their pulse wave. One destroyer lost control and spun into an asteroid. The other held, barely. Mara's fingers flew over the console. "Now!" she shouted. The Odyssey fired a burst of scrambled signals, noise, music, random pulses. The Kryleks wave flickered. For 10 seconds their formation broke. Leo gave the order. Railguns, full spread. Steel rods, each as long as a bus, shot forward at 10 times the speed of sound. One hit a Kryleks ship square on the side. Metal tore like paper. A second rod struck the engine core. The ship cracked open and went dark. The third human ship fired again. Another Kryleks vessel exploded in silence. The rest turned and left. No chase, no final attack. They just vanished into deep space. Back on the Odyssey, the crew was quiet. They had done it again. Saved a station, stopped the enemy. But Mara looked out onto the stars and whispered, "They're not coming back the same way. Next time, they'll try something new." And Leo knew she was right. The war was not over. It was just changing. And humans would have to change faster.
The news of the second wind spread fast. Across the galaxy, alien species watched human ships with new eyes. Some called them heroes, others called them dangerous. The Kryleks had never been beaten twice, and never by a species so young, so loud, so wild. On Earth, people cheered. Cities lit up. But Leo Grant did not celebrate. He sat in his cabin on the Odyssey, looking at star maps. Mara joined him, her face tired but sharp. "They're learning," she said, "but not how to fight better. They're learning to hide." Leo nodded. "They don't want to be seen. They want to win without being seen." Soon reports came in. More fleets gone. Not destroyed, not damaged, just missing. No signals, no wreckage. Whole groups of ships vanished in deep space. The Concorde grew afraid. Some species pulled their ships back. Others refused to fly near human zones. They said humans brought too much risk. They said the Kryleks only attacked because of them. Leo didn't care. He had a job to do. Then came the warning. A weak signal from a scout drone near Helios Rift, a narrow belt of space twisted by gravity storms. The drone saw something. Thousands of Krylek ships, moving slow, silent, heading straight for Earth. Leo called all human captains. They met in a tight circle on the comm screen. No aliens, just humans. "We can't fight them head-on," one said. "They're too many." "Then we don't fight fair," Mara said. "We use the rift. Their sensors won't work there, but we don't need them." Leo looked around. "We go in first. We hide. We wait. And when they come, we hit hard and fast." The plan was crazy. The rift was dangerous. Ships could be torn apart by gravity pulls. AI systems often failed. But humans had trained for this. They used instinct. They trusted each other. 6 human ships entered the rift. They turned off all signals. No lights, no power bursts. They floated like ghosts. Days passed. Then the Kryleks came. A long line of black ships moving like a single beast. As they entered the narrow path, the human ships struck. Railguns fired. Drones packed with fuel cells exploded in tight bursts. Marines in armored suits boarded enemy ships, fighting in zero gravity with knives and pistols. Chaos broke out. The Kryleks could not react. Their perfect order failed. One by one, their ships died. When it was over, the rift was empty again. The Krylix fleet was gone, not defeated, erased. And once more, silence fell across the stars. After the battle in Helios Rift, no one celebrated, not even on Earth, because something strange happened, something no one could explain. The Krylix were gone, not just their fleet, all of them. Every ship, every station, every signal. Their home worlds went dark. No messages, no movement. Probes sent to their planets found empty cities, streets with no one walking, ships parked, engines cold. No bodies, no war, just silence. The Galactic Concord sent teams to investigate. Scientists, diplomats, robot scouts. They searched for days. Finally, deep in a buried data core, they found a message. It was not meant for anyone. It was a final report from a Krylix commander. "We were wrong," it said. "They do not fight like us. They do not plan. They do not wait. They scream. They cry. They run into fire to save one another. They die for those they love. This is not war. This is madness. We cannot win. We do not understand them, so we stop." No one knew what happened next. Did the Krylix shut down their minds? Did they leave the galaxy? No one found answers. But the silence stayed. And now the other species began to look at humans differently. Not with hope, with fear. At Concord meetings, alien leaders spoke in low voices. "Humans are too dangerous," one said. "They do not follow rules. They act on feeling. What if they turn on us?" Ships that once flew side by side with human vessels now held their distance. Trade routes changed. Some systems closed their doors to Earth. Mara Cole read the reports and shook her head. "We saved them, and now they fear us." Leo stood at the window of the Odyssey, watching the stars. "They fear what they can't control," he said. "We fight for each other, not for power, not for order, for people. That scares them." Back on Earth, life went on. Children played, cities grew. But military bases expanded. New ships were built, not for attack, for defense. Because now the galaxy was quiet, not peaceful. Quiet, like the calm after a storm, like the moment before a beast moves. And in the dark, far from human space, some said they saw faint lights, black ships, far away, just watching, waiting. The war was over, but the silence was louder than any battle. Years passed. The Odyssey was no longer the newest ship, but it was still remembered. Leo Grant left the fleet and went home to a small house by the sea. He walked every morning along the shore, his hands in his pockets, thinking of stars and silence. He never spoke much about the war, but sometimes, when children asked, he would smile and say, "We fought for each other. That's all that matters." Mara Cole stayed in space. She became a teacher, training young men and women to fly, to fight, to think fast. She told them the real lessons, not just how to aim a gun or read a sensor, but how to trust their crew, how to act when there is no time to think, how to care. On distant worlds, stories spread, not from official channels, from people. Traders, pilots, families. They told of the small species with loud voices and strong hearts, how they charged into dark space when no one else would, how they saved planets without asking for thanks. Some called them heroes, some called them monsters, but all agreed on one thing. When humans entered battle,
The galaxy fell silent. Ships still carried human music through space. Old songs, simple ones, songs about love, loss, and home. Alien ears found them strange at first, too emotional, too raw. But over time, some began to listen, even to like them. In the quiet corners of the galaxy, where stars shine weak and ships pass rarely, old Krylix ruins stood empty. No one knows what became of them. Some say they turned off their minds. Some say they left to find a place where feeling does not exist. But once, a human drone picked up a faint signal from deep space, not a voice, not a weapon, a single note from a piano, repeating, drifting between the stars. No one knows who sent it, or why. Perhaps it was a message. Perhaps it was just sound. But for the first time, someone on the other side had listened. Earth did not rule the galaxy. It did not want to. They built no empire. They asked for no control. They simply stayed ready, in case the silence broke. Because the galaxy had learned one truth. Humans were not the strongest, the fastest, or the smartest. But when they stood together, when they fought for one person, one home, one idea, no force in the universe could match them. And so the stars remained quiet, watching, waiting, knowing that if war returns, the last sound they hear will be a human voice, loud and clear, saying, "We're not leaving you."